on. Bernardo, can you explain the frustration that you've been dealing with yourself? Just hit the unmute on your microphone. Hopefully we don't lose you this time again.
Sorry, I think I have connection problems. So sorry about that, guys.
No, go ahead, fire away.
So what you asked, because I lost everything.
If
you asked right now.
If you can kind of just repeat what the basis of your post was in the men's community, just so guys know what the frustration is.
Basically, I published that post because I went to a party in the building of my company, where there are several companies there, in the building, and I party, and unfortunately, when I was interacting with women, I was thinking like, no man, this is going nowhere, because this is the job is a no sex zone, so this is not going nowhere. And women were looking at me, they look at me and they want to interact with me, they smile at me, so I should, then in my social circle, I started looking at the behavior of women, like for example, the very outgoing woman was going from guy to guy, not really going anywhere, then go home, fax her boyfriend. I had the impression, okay, this one, and also another woman was interacting with me like trying to playing hard to get, things like that, when in reality I know she's a whore. And also I was thinking in the social circle is long-term gain. So I don't have in the job, in the social circle, I don't have many options. So then what is left? The strangers, Tinder. I've heard horrible stories about Tinder, and also other people who have had a lot of problems with strangers. So it looks a bit dangerous, but of course what I want is to work on myself a bit more, because I have to fix some things in my life that isn't perfect right now. So everything that you're suggesting is great. Thank you for all your input. But the thing with the red pill was that I'm watching all this content on a weekly basis and exposed to social media, groups, forums, everything that is online, which is a huge wave. And I'm thinking, did I have enough of it? Is it really helping, going somewhere? How can I really use it? What's the solution? Because we are talking about a lot of things, but is there any solution? Are we going anywhere with all this? I mean, at least for guys like me, you're very successful, married, long-term relationship with decent women, but there are a lot of guys out there who we are high value. I think I'm decent value, and we are having a problem in moving forward to a better life.
Okay, so if you can stay on, because we've got guys on here looking at this going, well, I've got some questions or maybe some follow-ups to it. I think it's important to state that anybody on this panel right now does not have a perfect life. If you think that even the married guys like Rollo and Ryan are not having not having to deal with female nature or manufactured indignation, I guarantee you it happens, right? I mean, none of us have that perfect life that you might be thinking. I mean, maybe we don't talk about it enough, or some of the vulnerabilities, but the reality of the world is we all have to navigate it in the same way. It's just the lens in which you approach it and the way that you respond and react. Did you guys on the panel have any questions for Bernardo to clarify?
I would just say, as a comment to hearing his story, that following through with this lifestyle and this community, which Red Pill, when you really bottom line it, it's just a community of men overcomers. You will overcome this, and it will take time, but you eventually will find what you're looking for. And what I'm looking for is different from what Carl's looking for, or what Rollo's looking for, or what Rich is looking for. So you just got to stay at it. And once you're unplugged, you're unplugged. So you either learn how to adapt to your new perception of reality, or you just have to accept that you're going to suffer in not progressing.
Yeah, I would just add to that, just to piggyback on what Rich said. Yeah, we got guys. I mean, I'm in a long-term relationship myself, but the reason why my relationship seems to be solid is because of the strife. There's no such thing as a perfect life or a perfect relationship. And to Jonathan's point, yes, once you're unplugged, you're unplugged. You can't put the toothpaste back into the tube. Once a man is exposed to red pill truth, you can't help but see things in the way they really are. And I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Matrix, came out back in 1999. That's kind of that's sort of the pseudonymous comparison between this community and that movie, is when Neo looks down the hallway and for the first time he sees all of the agents in code. Well, at that point, he was never going to be the same. And when you're exposed to red pill truth, you have a few choices. You can either navigate the world and try to dominate the world, get what you want out of women, which is easy sex. make money and live a good life, or you can kind of crawl into a hole. Either way, at least you know what the truth is. You're going to live a better life one way than the other, but living the red pill life is not easy. Even when you sort of have everything figured out, there are challenges along the way. But just like Jonathan said, you will overcome them. You're going to have to overcome them multiple times, but at the end of the day, it does become second nature, and you do start to be a little bit more content as a man.
Cool. So before I throw it off to Carl, I just want to give a shout out and thank James Miller for the $5 super chat. He says, Rich, thank you for the recommendation on Entourage. I'm in the US. Guys, if you're not sure about your testosterone levels and you're in the States, Entourage is a great resource. You can check it out. Carl, go ahead, bud.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that if the red pill was easy, everyone would be doing it. And I think there's a reason why we have such a high attrition rate in the community itself, because it's difficult to do this every single day. And getting over that first battlefield is going to be difficult for everyone. But the most important thing is to stick with it. But just be aware that there are a lot of purple pill dating coaches along the way saying you don't have to do it all the way. You can do it to about 50%. Do as much as you're comfortable with. And just go that far. And the problem is a lot of the guys, they get drawn in by these easy solutions instead of just sticking with it until it starts working. I think that's why weightlifting is such a great analogy, because you're not going to grow 30 pounds of muscle in your first week in the gym, but if you keep going for a year and you eat decently, you're going to put on that muscle in the first year. But you won't see it for the first 6 months or something.
You know what, Carl, we should tell Bernardo about our quasi hashtag, right? Hashtag was it 31 seconds to masculinity?
Yeah. We should push that one out soon now. I'm not sure if we can distribute that via Amazon, though. I'm not sure what the rules are for narcotics.
Yeah. I really like Rich's 1 foot in. I really like Rich's 1 foot in analogy, because I think that's it. Like, he's saying no girl's good enough for him. And every girl's got traits that he doesn't like, but obviously it's those traits that he used to like, but they just don't exist. Everybody else seems to be able to figure out how to enjoy women for what they are. I'm sure if he looks at it as a reality, he'll figure it out.
I think it's a buffer.
I think everybody else on the panel does, being fair.
How long? A post called buffers, I think, and I think the whole quality woman thing is a buffer that they use not to face rejection. Instead of, well, I would hit on her and she's hot, but she's probably a slut, or, I would go hit on that one, but I'm sure she beats her dog behind closed doors. So yeah, I definitely would hit on her, but I don't think she'll age well in 45 years.
Yeah.
Rollo, do you want to go on that one?
I was just going to say, I agree with the 1 foot in and 1 foot out kind of thing. I mean, this is really the basis of purple pill. Unfortunately, I think that there's guys like Bernardo who end up going through this. I guess for lack of a better term, I'll call it black pill, but I don't really necessarily believe in black pill. I believe that there's an abyss that you have to cross between your old blue pill idealism and red pill awareness. And I think that if there is a black pill, it's somewhere between the blue pill and the red pill abyss, right? And this is where guys like purple pill hacks come into the whole thing. They say, well, hey, you know what? You don't have to go all the way red pill. You can still have those blue pill ideals. Everything's not as bad as these guys are saying. Come over here and you can still be. The real red pill is still believing in your blue pill Disney. Dreams can come true. And they find a lot of clientele in that, because a lot of guys don't want to abandon that. They don't want to leave that blue pill comfort, because it's so comforting to think that. But then you get a guy like Bernardo can correct me on this if he wants to, but you get to a point where you can't unsee what you're seeing with the red pill lens. You can't unsee the shit that's going on around you. I mean, you'll go to a movie, or you'll listen to a popular song, or you'll hear a conversation like at a party or something like that. And it will remind you of something I said, or something Rich said, or something that you saw and so, yeah, I mean, you can go ahead and try to cut yourself off. You can say, okay, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to listen to the Red Man Group anymore. Fuck it. I'm not going to deal with, I'm not going to read Rollo anymore. I'm just going to go do what I'm going to do. But you know what? You'll go out there and you'll go, oh, well, I'll stick my head back in the sand. And you know what? There's no sticking your head back in the sand.
I'll tell
You're
you.
gonna
I'll tell you
see something
exactly what
that
it's like. It's like driving down a dark country road with your headlights on and your fog lights on, and you can see shit and where you're going, and then you turn off all your lighting. It doesn't change the fact that the road is still there and that there's a bend 50 meters up the road that you're going to have to navigate. You're far better off with your lights on so that you can see it. That's really what it boils down to.
Yeah, but I understand that. I understand that it's comforting to want to go back to that. But you know what? Once you're unplugged, there's no going back. I mean, I think the Neo or whatever aphorism, the Neo metaphor, where he's unplugged, and Morpheus shows him what the real world looks like, and they come back out of the Matrix, and he throws up on the deck, right? Like, I think that's the position where Bernardo is. He's throwing up on the deck. He's like, and he gets depressed, and he says, there's really no going back. And then Morpheus says, even if you could, would you really want to?
Exactly.